Dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, may the serenity of the Almighty envelop each of you in this decisive time. I approach you with an appeal that cannot be ignored or postponed because what is about to happen carries eternal weight, is profound, is spiritual, and demands vigilance. Something extraordinary will manifest itself tonight, and only awakened hearts will perceive the signs. This message comes through Father Michel Rodriguez, a Canadian priest known for his ministry of liberation and for mystical experiences that have already anticipated significant events such as global crises and upheavals between nations. Once again, he was visited by a revelation, and this time the urgency is even greater. With tears and a choked voice, he recounted what was shown to him and asked that it be shared before nightfall, not to spread fear, but to prepare, strengthen, and enlighten the faithful. According to him, from tonight onward, spiritual manifestations will begin to touch even the unbelievers through discrete signs, inner perceptions, visions, and events that will inaugurate a new stage in the awakening of consciences. This revelation connects directly to the prophecies of Medjugorje, and the mysteries announced by heaven over decades tell us that we are living through a decisive time on the spiritual clock, and this is a final call to preparation. If you hear these words, it is not by chance. It is God Himself calling your heart to recollection and readiness. During a silent vigil, Father Michel was carried away in spirit and led to a reality invisible to human eyes, but active on the supernatural plane. He witnessed an intense confrontation between forces of light and shadow, saw regions immersed in dense darkness while a celestial light descended upon cities, churches, and homes where prayer still remains alive. It seemed that heaven was marking those who persevere even amidst chaos. Obscure spiritual forces attempted to maintain dominion over power structures, technologies, and social systems, working subtly to distract humanity with materialism and distance it from the eternal. The impact was so strong that he remained restless for days, consumed by an urgency that consumed body and soul. Then he received clear guidance, specific signs, and a spiritual calendar whose beginning is this very night. The manifestation will not be spectacular in the eyes of the world, but silent and transformative, initiating a sequence of signs that will grow in intensity. Heaven begins to communicate more directly, and those who are attentive will feel it. Tonight marks the first movement of a divine wave that will touch homes and consciences. Grace will descend like gentle dew that silently changes the landscape. Simple objects of devotion may seem different to the eyes of faith, not because of physical brilliance, but because of a deeper spiritual perception. Many will feel a comforting presence, like an invisible support bringing peace and reverence. Dreams may carry striking symbols such as crosses and lights accompanied by serene words that echo within. At dawn, a strong impulse to pray may arise without apparent explanation, and this brief prayer will be like a flame lit in the darkness. All these are discrete signs, yet full of meaning. The action of heaven is necessary, and tonight inaugurates 3 spiritual movements. In the first stage, God touches the interior and calls for personal conversion, awakens consciences, and invites deep reflection. Those with sensitive hearts will perceive it. Those who keep prayer at home will understand, but this is only preparation for something. The greatest manifestation that will unfold in the coming days will be reached through the next stages, encompassing relationships, families, illnesses, and then public spaces and entire communities. However, before any external manifestation, the light must be born within each one of us. Nothing is random. Everything follows a divine plan like a perfectly adjusted clock. The 3 revealed waves have a specific mission within a greater purpose of purification and preparation. Therefore, watch, pray, and remain steadfast, for this night is not ordinary. It is the beginning of a time when heaven draws even closer to those who wish to listen. My beloved children, I speak to you with the heart of a mother who watches, who intercedes, and who never tires of calling. In the face of all that you have seen and felt, strengthen your faith. Do not allow fear to paralyze you, nor the uncertainties of this time to extinguish the flame that God has kindled in your hearts. Once again, I warn you, times of trial are approaching. The world walks amidst noise, division, and spiritual coldness. Many have strayed from God's love, seeking security only in fleeting things. But that which is not founded on the Lord does not endure. Therefore, my children, it is time to return. It is time to call God into your lives not only with words, but with decisions. Invite Him into your homes, into your thoughts, into your daily choices. Invite Him when you wake up and when you go to bed. Call upon Him in the small things, for it is in the small things that the heart is molded. I do not tell you to live in fear, but to live in vigilance and trust. When a mother warns her children, she does not do so to frighten them, but to protect them. I invite you to strengthen your faith in my Son, Jesus Christ. He is the safe path in the midst of the storm. He is the light that does not go out when everything around seems to darken. If you feel that your faith is weak, do not despair. Faith also grows in silence, in perseverance, and even in tears. Start again. Start over as many times as necessary. Heaven never tires of welcoming a repentant heart willing to change. Strengthen your families. Help one another to remain steadfast. Do not allow discouragement to enter your homes. Where there is prayer, there is protection. Where there is trust in God, there is direction. Where there is love, the enemy finds no space. My children, what is to come will not be greater than the grace that God wishes to pour out upon you. But it is necessary to open your hearts. It is necessary to choose the light. It is necessary to decide every day to belong to God. I walk with you. You are not alone. Even when you do not feel me, my intercession surrounds you. Draw near to the Lord with sincerity, and you will see that, in the midst of trials, a strength will arise that does not come from the world, but from on high. Listen to me with an open heart. Do not let these words pass like the wind that touches and goes away. Keep them within you, before what is approaching, before the invisible movements that many still do not perceive. I ask you, strengthen your faith. Not the superficial faith that remembers God only in emergencies, but the living, constant, rooted faith. She who remains when everything seems uncertain. She who trusts even when she doesn't understand. My children, many have lived distracted. The world offers noise, urgencies, endless distractions. It occupies your minds so that there is no space left for God. It fills your days so that there is no silence. And without silence, the soul weakens. Therefore, I warn you, turn to God with determination. Call Him into your lives in a true way, not just in repeated words, but in transformed attitudes. Call Him when you feel fear. Call Him when you feel doubt. Call Him when you feel you have no strength, because that is exactly when He wants to act. There are events that will affect many structures. There will be moments when what seems stable will prove fragile. But he who is firmly grounded in God does not crumble. He may sway, he may cry, he may feel the weight of the trial, but he does not fall, because he is sustained by something greater than this world. I ask you, my children, do not harden your hearts. Indifference is more dangerous than fear. An indifferent heart ceases to seek, ceases to watch, ceases to fight. And that is how many are lost, not through great falls, but through small daily concessions. Let us call God to the center of the home, to the center of decisions, to the center of relationships, to the center of thoughts. When God occupies the center, chaos loses its power. When God is a priority, despair does not dominate. Strengthen your spiritual life. Nourish it. Just as the body needs food, the soul needs divine presence. Do not wait to feel something extraordinary to believe. True faith often grows in seclusion, in discipline, in silent constancy. My children, do not be afraid of the shadows. Remember, light always has more power than darkness. A single flame can illuminate an entire environment. And each of you is called to be that flame, and I warn you not to generate fear, but to awaken consciousness. Time demands spiritual maturity. It demands firmness. It demands clear choices. You can no longer live in the superficiality of faith. Depth is necessary. It is necessary to have roots. My children, God does not abandon those who seek Him, but it is necessary to seek Him with sincerity. not with momentary interest, but with surrender, not with convenience, but with love. I accompany you. I intercede for each one of you. When you feel weak, I am asking for strength for you. When you think you are alone, there is an invisible protection surrounding you. Remain firm. Strengthen your faith every day. Call God into your lives before the storms knock at the door, and even if they do, you will be prepared. My beloved children, look around you, not with the distracted eyes of those who only observe, but with the attentive eyes of those who discern. The world is wounded. There is evil spread like a silent shadow. There is destruction that advances not only in the streets and nations, but within hearts. How many of you realize that there are nations at war, families torn apart, people suffering in silence? And yet, everything seems distant. Many see but do not comment. Many know but prefer not to reflect. Pain has become a fleeting headline, and human suffering no longer provokes as it once did. This, my children, is a sign. The heart of humanity has been slowly hardened. Not overnight, but little by little. Indifference has infiltrated where there should be compassion. Distraction has occupied the space of vigilance. And so, while the world burns in conflict and division, many continue as if nothing were happening. Understand, when evil ceases to cause astonishment, it is because something within the soul has begun to slumber. There is a battle that is not only visible. It takes place within consciences. The enemy works not only with violence, but with spiritual blindness. He does not need everyone to practice evil. It is enough that many cease to react to it. It is enough that they close their eyes. It is enough that they become accustomed. When the eyes of the soul close, truth loses ground. And when truth loses ground, error presents itself as normal. This is how humanity is drifting away from God's path without realizing the depth of the abyss that is approaching. My children, do not let yourselves be enveloped by this spiritual veil. Do not allow your hearts to become insensitive. Do not accept the lie that nothing can be done or that this doesn't affect me. Everything that happens in the world affects the entire body of humanity. Wars are not born only from weapons. They are born from pride, arrogance, the absence of God in the hearts of men. The destruction you see outside began long before, within small decisions, selfish choices, silent turning away from God. That is why I call you to awaken. Awaken spiritually. Question what you consume, what you believe, what you nourish in your thoughts. Ask yourselves, is my faith alive or asleep? Does my heart still move? Do I feel the suffering of others? Do I still seek God sincerely? This is not a time for distraction. It is a time for awareness. It is a time to strengthen faith like one who reinforces the walls before the storm. Evil spreads when good weakens, and good weakens when the righteous are silent, when the faithful become complacent, when prayer becomes rare. My children, do not be part of humanity that walks blindfolded. Be light, be intercessors, be vigilant. Even if the world seems silent, even if many ignore the signs, do not ignore them. Pray in silence. Offer your fidelity. Keep your soul awake. I do not speak to you so that you may live in fear, but so that you may live in spiritual lucidity. He who sees with the eyes of God does not despair. He takes a stand. He chooses good with greater firmness. He protects his family spiritually. He is not deceived by appearances. My beloved children, listen to the voice of this mother who speaks to you with tenderness, but also with seriousness. Look around deeply, not just with fleeting curiosity. The world is marked by clear signs of disorder, violence, and spiritual coldness. There are wars that tear nations apart. There are people suffering in silence. There are families being divided. There are children growing up amidst fear. And yet, many continue their routines as if it were all just distant noise, as if the pain of others had no connection to their own lives. I realized, my children, how the heart of humanity has been enveloped by a fog of indifference. It is not only explicit evil that wounds the world, but the apathy of those who have become accustomed to it. When injustice no longer causes astonishment, when violence becomes commonplace, when truth is relativized, something profound is breaking in the collective soul. There are forces that work silently to confuse, divide, and weaken. Evil does not always present itself in a frightening way. Often it disguises itself as normality. It distracts, it entertains, it occupies the mind, it empties the spirit. It makes people look at everything but God. It makes them discuss many things, but avoid speaking of spiritual truth. He leads humanity into a slow blindness, where the ability to discern light from darkness is lost. When I say that many are blindfolded, I am not only speaking of what they see with their physical eyes, but of what they fail to see with their souls. The spiritual blindfold is that which prevents repentance, which silences the conscience, which transforms error into something acceptable. And so, little by little, the world distances itself from that which could save it. My children, do not allow this blindfold to cover your eyes as well. Do not accept living distracted while the spirit weakens. Do not allow the excess of information to replace wisdom, nor the constant noise to replace the silence necessary to hear God. There are nations at war, there are conflicts spreading, there are decisions being made that will affect generations. None of this is merely politics or chance. Behind every rupture lies a human heart that has strayed from the truth, that has chosen pride instead of humility, power instead of justice, self-interest instead of love. Evil grows when God is removed from the center. And when God ceases to be a priority, humanity begins to walk in circles, believing it is advancing, but in reality approaching the spiritual abyss. I call you to a different posture, not of revolt, not of despair, but of vigilance and firmness. Be conscious, be lucid, nourish your faith daily, because time demands deep roots. A tree without strong roots falls with the first strong wind. So too is the soul that does not strengthen itself in God. Do not be deceived by the apparent brilliance of fleeting things. What seems great today may crumble tomorrow. What seems secure today may prove fragile. But he who builds his life on the presence of God remains standing, even when everything around him shakes. My children, examine your own hearts. The transformation of the world begins within each one. Do not wait for others to change first. Ask yourselves if you have lived with coherence, if you have cultivated charity, if you have sought the truth. Do not become critics of the world while neglecting your own conversion. I speak to you with love, but also with urgency. This is not a time for spiritual superficiality. This is not a time for lukewarm faith. It is a time for decision. It is a time for inner positioning. It is a time to consciously choose to remain in the light. There is still hope. As long as there is a heart willing to turn to God, there is hope. As long as there is someone who prays, who trusts, who remains faithful, darkness will not have the last word. Even if many close their eyes, you keep them open. Even if many ignore the signs, you discern them with serenity. Even if many walk without direction, you seek divine guidance. I walk with you. I intercede for you. I do not abandon you. My desire is to lead each one to the safe refuge of God's love. Remain attentive. Remain firm. Remain in faith. The time demands spiritual courage, and this courage is born from a heart that fully trusts in the Lord. Pray with a sincere heart, not just with repeated words, but with true surrender. Prayer is the refuge of the soul in times of confusion. It is the invisible fortress that sustains those who remain faithful. In the world in which you live, there is a spiritual turmoil that many do not perceive. There are silent movements that distance hearts from God, that weaken faith, and that make the soul vulnerable. I have warned you throughout time, including in the messages attributed to the apparitions in Medjugorje, calling you to conversion, vigilance, and constant prayer. These are not words of fear, but of care. When a mother warns her children about a danger, it is not to generate panic, but to prepare them. The evil that threatens humanity does not begin only in external events. It begins in the weakening of faith, in the loss of hope, in the abandonment of spiritual life ritual. A heart disconnected from God becomes fragile in the face of trials. My children, ask for protection. Do not trust only in human strength, for it is limited. Seek the protection that comes from above. When you remain connected to faith, When you cultivate a vibrant and persevering spiritual life, you create around yourselves a barrier that evil cannot easily cross. What may come will not be greater than the grace granted to those who remain steadfast. But it is necessary to be connected like the branch that remains attached to the tree. Without this connection, the branch dries up. Without this connection, the soul weakens. Pray in your homes. Protect your families with faith. Do not let distraction steal your time with God. Many only seek heaven when pain has already knocked at the door. I ask you, seek it beforehand. Prepare yourselves beforehand. Strengthen yourselves beforehand. Evil tries to destroy faith because it knows that a heart firm in God does not bend easily. Therefore, it works with confusion, division, discouragement, and indifference. He tries to make you believe that prayer is unnecessary, that vigilance is an exaggeration, that conversion can wait. Do not believe this, my children. Remain awake. Pray for those who are far away. Pray for those who do not perceive the signs. Pray for those who live without spiritual direction. The prayer of a faithful heart obtains graces that human eyes cannot see. I accompany you and intercede for you. I am not distant. I am by your side, leading you to the heart of my Son. If you remain in faith, you will have nothing to fear. He who trusts in God finds strength even in the most difficult times. My beloved children, pray. My children, pray deeply, constantly with confidence. Do not transform prayer into a mere empty habit, but into a true encounter with God. Prayer is the breath of the soul. When you stop praying, it is as if the soul begins to slowly suffocate without realizing it. I ask for your protection not because I want you to live in fear, but because I want you to be prepared. The world in which you live is going through a time of great spiritual turmoil. There are forces working to weaken faith, to divide families, to confuse consciences. Evil does not only present itself in visible tragedies. It infiltrates small daily concessions, choices that distance the heart from God. In Medjugorje, insistent appeals for conversion, fasting, prayer, and perseverance were transmitted. These calls are not for a small group, but for all my children. They are invitations to spiritual vigilance. These are warnings that humanity cannot continue walking as if God were secondary. My children, understand this. The greatest danger is not only what destroys the body, but what weakens the soul. A heart disconnected from faith becomes vulnerable to confusion, despair, and hopelessness. When faith cools, hope fades. And when hope fades, evil finds space to act. What may come to the world should not be a cause for panic, but for inner decision. Those who are connected to faith remain firm. Those who cultivate a constant spiritual life create deep roots. And deep roots sustain the tree even when the winds blow strongly. Pray as a family. Protect your homes spiritually. Do not allow the atmosphere of your home to be dominated by arguments, negativity, and coldness. Bring the presence of God into your ordinary days. Call upon Him in joys and in difficulties. Divine protection manifests itself in the lives of those who seek it sincerely. Evil primarily seeks to strike those who live distracted, those who believe that faith can wait, that conversion can be postponed. My children, do not postpone what is essential. Each day is an opportunity to strengthen the soul. Each choice is a step towards light or darkness. Do not let yourselves be dominated by fear of the future. Fear paralyzes. Faith strengthens. He who trusts in God walks even when he does not clearly see the path ahead. He who remains in prayer receives discernment not to be deceived by appearances. I tell you with a mother's love, be attentive. Strengthen your connection with God as one who protects a precious treasure. Nourish your faith constantly. Do not wait to feel great signs to believe. Fidelity is built in daily life, in silence, in perseverance. Many ignore the warnings because they believe that everything will continue as it always has. But time demands spiritual maturity. It demands firmness. It demands inner courage. Do not become indifferent. Do not live only for material concerns. Spiritual life is the foundation that sustains everything else. Ask for protection for yourselves, for your children, for your families. Ask for light to discern. Ask for strength to remain steadfast. Heaven does not deny help to those who seek it with humility. I walk with you. I intercede for each one of you. Even when you feel weak, there is grace being poured out to sustain you. But it is necessary to open your hearts. It is necessary to choose to remain connected to faith. Pray, my children. Remain vigilant. Strengthen your spiritual life before trials intensify. And remember, he who remains united to God will never be abandoned, even in the most difficult hours.